the two things I kind of noticed was one, obviously, you have a high degree of perseverance, given when you first entered the military college, when that was not necessarily the norm for people like yourself, or like like us, right? But there's that component, and then there's a component of like very very high achiever. I mean, that's obviously very very true from your history. So I'm wondering, when you embarked on this journey to kind of reshape at least a little bit of family medicine in Colwood, because there was obviously a risk involved in it, right? Because
Mhm.
no one seems like no one's done it before, not
Right.
just in Colwood, but maybe in the rest of Canada, people saw it as crazy. Like, was there an element of like fear of failure? Because like, oh, this could really fail. I'm assuming a ton of people said to you, well, this could really fail, Doug. It could make like really really taint your reputation in the community. Like, did that ever cross your mind?
Yes, but then like it's how I do everything. You identify all the risks, and then you create your own risk mitigation plan right now. So you minimize it. So you know what? The business model itself is pretty simple. I mean, you're going to always have customers, right? You will. I mean, it's not that revenue source is always there. It's a nice thing. So I don't think there's the problems aren't going to be from a revenue point of view. There won't be losses. The risk right now is that we did spend taxpayers' dollars, which we're going to pay back right now, just establishing the clinic. We had to pay for certain things, right? We don't actually own the building. It's owned by Jimmy Pattison, and they've been a great partner. So that's another element too. I did do a partnership with the private sector, and so we risk, if it fails, which how can it? You think about it, you say, well, if no one shows up to their go to a doctor, well, no, you're going to always have patients. I mean, there's no problems any one of these clinics getting patients. You don't hear, geez, we don't have enough patients here today. It's way too many. That's the issue. So just purely from that point of view, that if it were somehow, maybe there was this big labor strife thing that might happen. That may happen. Doctors might all get angry one day and just walk out. That's possible. So that's a risk. So you have to look at it from a risk point of view, risk mitigation. Yeah, there was some risk involved. Because like I said, the other cost that we had to pay was all these legal fees just to learn, make sure that we were doing what the things that we said we were going to do. We could do it legally. Like, we spent a lot of money doing that. So yeah, I mean, if this was to shut down tomorrow, yeah, everything that we spent, is at risk. But I don't see how it's not going to be successful. We're already getting lineups for the clinic right now as we speak. Because we just don't have enough doctors. We still got to bring in another 6 doctors, right? So I don't think it's an issue. So yeah, it was a bit nerve wracking. And you know what? Yes, I do realize that. Did it make me nervous? Not really, because I knew that I'm doing the right thing. I just think of how much money is wasted by government right now on they set up all these policies and plans, and they don't implement very well. And you know what? To be fair, with the provincial government, they're not staffed with implementers, right? They they're the ones that set up the policies, and they've actually. I'll give credit to the province. They set up a policy that enabled me to do this. It's just that everyone missed the boat on it, right? They just sort of, I've had other mayors that go, Jesus, we thought of something like this 6 years ago. What changed? I says, the longitudinal family payment plan. Oh, shoot. Never thought of that, right? And so, but I'm a creative kind of guy, and and I don't take credit for coming up with all the ideas. I just harnessed everybody right in a room, and I was telling people it was sort of late on a Friday evening. We were sitting in my office, and the mayor's office is still on, and we were just we were kind of getting giddy about it, actually. Maybe this is what we could do. Maybe this is what we could do. But some of the greatest ideas come from that, right? So it was more or less a brainstorm. No one really had a hardcore agenda. No one knew what it was going to look like in the end at that point in time. And we just started, we started putting the pieces together. It was a great team. The staff here, this is the very first time where I can say the council and the staff were so well connected on something. They just, wow, they wanted to make it happen, and to have the public was behind us. Oh my God, I've never seen anything like this. And then the doctors, and it's funny because my wife can go anywhere in this town to go see a doctor, any specialist, and they all know my name.
Of
Yeah,
course.
yeah. So, but
Great.
but it's like I don't want to take all the credit for this. This was a team. It was a awesome team, and I just had the pleasure of leading this. And I stand by everything that I've done. Learn, like I said. I mean, there's just some things that I could have did differently to get where we are today. Oh yeah, geez, the people that follow me will now have the benefit of not making the same mistakes that we did. So yeah, that's the key.
Absolutely. So I guess what I'm hearing, what I'm learning from your kind of this how you guys overcame this challenge is in some ways just because you're the first to do something like this was perceived as say a risk, but you really dug into almost like the fundamentals. Like, okay, is this going to make is this are we going to be able to pay everyone? Is this legally
Yeah,
something that we can
yeah,
do, right? And you broke into almost like bite-sized components are actually you can tackle each one.
yep,
And then on top of that, you had obviously you reached out to a fantastic team. You brought in both the people that are working in municipality, and of course you also worked with the industry as well. So you brought together a team to also come together. So at least that's what I'm hearing, and
yep,
that's why I'm
yep,
taking away from this.
yep. Absolutely.